Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of TFF Talks. I'm your stand-in host today, Robson O'Reardon, and this evening we have a great show lined up for you. But before we begin, this show is sponsored by Classic 11 shirts and brought to you by Crowther Media. Crowther, we can't quite decide that just yet. All links, as always, are in the description below. If you're watching live tonight, please do send in your questions and views to us either in the YouTube chat section or via Twitter, official TFF. We plan to read them out later on in the show. So on the show today, we have Ben. Ben is a Peterborough United fan. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate.
Thank you. Pleasure.
No worries. We were meant to have Andrew Parsons. He plays for AFC Macmillan, but unfortunately, I think his phone died just before we started this. So he may join halfway through. So that's just a pre-warning for you. We also have David. He supports Wigan Athletic and is a season ticket holder there as well. Hi, David.
You all right, Robson?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Bit of drama, obviously, with the late dropout. So there's only three of us in this chat. You know what? Crack on. Obviously, Danny can't make it, so I'm covering him. So let's crack on. So the first topic we're going to cover is, can Leicester City avoid the drop? What do you think, guys? I'll go for Ben first. What do you reckon?
I think they can. I think the squad is there. They're not playing well. I have to admit that. I don't think Saki Ranieri would be the right call, but
controversial.
I think he's been badly let down by the players rather than he's letting the players down.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, go crack on, mate. Go on.
I was going to say, I think it's just. I mean, he's trying all he can. It's just the players. They've just not recovered from winning the league last season. They just don't look the same. They're not putting in the same effort. They're not showing the same passion. They're not playing to the level they can do. And it's just it's a point where the manager can only do so much. Like, he can only prepare a team in a certain way, and if the players aren't responding to that, I think you have to look more at their own attitudes first. But I do think they just about stay up.
Yeah.
Just.
Do you think the loss of N'Golo Kante was a bit of a shock to the system?
I think so, definitely. I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, I don't think people really realised. It's one of the things, like, you don't really appreciate him until he was gone, because people did talk about Kante, but I think most people assumed, obviously I myself included, that the key to their success was more Mahrez and Vardy, and if you took one of those two away, the team would fall apart.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that wasn't the case. It was more Kante, and I think it's the fact they've not. I think one of the things they have done wrong is they've tried to replace him directly. Like, they went out, they brought Nampils Mendy, they've now brought in Ndidi. So they've just tried to buy an exact replacement for Kante, where Kante is the kind of player where you can't just go out and buy another Kante. You can't just put somebody there and tell him to do what Kante did. It's like he's kind of. I probably should have adapted to that more than they have. Adapt to it better than, because I don't think they've adapted to that loss well at all.
No. Oh, what about you, David? Do you reckon Leicester can avoid the drop this season?
Yeah, of course. All they've got to do is, like I'm saying, all they've got to do is just put the effort in and make sure they get results out of games, and no problem, they can.
Do you think it's as easy as that, though, mate?
Well, they got the players to do it. They clearly showed that last season, and they've also got the manager to do it. Again, showed that last season.
Yeah, definitely. So, Ben, coming back to you, mate, if Leicester can avoid the drop, do you think they'll keep hold of their players?
Yes, in the sense that I don't think they're going to have the interest around them as they were before. I think Vardy, the likes of Mahrez and Vardy, are going to find a lot of doors that were open last summer aren't going to be open this summer. So, there might be moves up the Premier League, but it's not going to be. They're not going to be getting the interest from Arsenal with Vardy last year. I don't think Man United aren't really going to be sniffing around Mahrez so much this summer. So in a sense, they have kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah. Okay. On the opposite side of the On the opposite side of the spectrum, David, can you see them keeping their players if they can't avoid the drop?
Well, some of them will obviously have to go due to
Do you think it's a wage issue? Do you think if they do drop down, obviously their wages won't cover what they're obviously the Championship sort of standard?
Oh yeah, of course, because obviously the Championship is a lot lower than the Premier League in terms of payments.
Yeah, but a few players do. If you see it with when QPR were relegated, a few players do drop down to the Championship because obviously some teams can afford it. I'm not saying they'll keep the likes of. I personally think if Leicester do go down, Vardy, Gray, Mahrez, Schmeichel, all that lot will be gone. What do you reckon?
Yeah, because like I was saying, the wage is a massive part in players playing for certain clubs, and like Ben said, the likes of Arsenal won't be looking at Vardy or Mahrez anymore.
Yeah,
because they've not shown their quality in the Premier League this season.
Okay, so Leicester's next few games in the league are against Liverpool, Hull, Arsenal, and West Ham. Not too easy of matches. Can you see the Foxes picking up points in those games, David?
Is it okay if you could repeat them again? Sorry, Robson.
Yeah, of course. So they've got Liverpool, Hull, Arsenal, and West Ham up next.
West Ham will be an interesting game because obviously they're both fighting for points.
Yeah, and I mean, West Ham have picked up a bit of form recently as well, haven't they?
Yeah. Hull will be the same. Interesting because they're trying to fight for points as well.
Yeah.
And was it Arsenal and Liverpool as well?
Yeah.
Arsenal will be quite a difficult one as Arsenal have started, like, especially last game, they played very well. And Liverpool, I don't know, because Liverpool obviously have dropped form quite a bit.
Yeah,
they got a 2-0 win on the weekend. Which
sounds like the curse of 2017 for Liverpool. Yeah. They're not doing too well, are they? Okay, so on to another note, Ben. Champions League, obviously Leicester are in still, and they are also still in the FA Cup. Do you think that's a distraction? And do you think that is why they aren't performing as well in the league this season?
Well, no, I wouldn't say so necessarily because there's been quite a large gap from the Champions League now. I can't remember the last one of the Champions League group stage finished, but there's been a quite considerable break, and Leicester have been performing consistently poorly when there's been no Champions League to look forward to. As weird as it sounds, I actually think it could be a good thing for the squad because it's the Champions League. This is most of this squad could probably never have dreamed to be in the Champions League. Which is where they started their careers, and the age they are. Especially people like Wes Morgan, when he joined Leicester, he wasn't joining Leicester to play the Champions League.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the big, maybe like a boost they need. And if they can go and put in a strong performance against Sevilla, maybe even if they don't go through, but if they give a good account of themselves against Sevilla, who are flying in La Liga at the minute, mounting a surprise title challenge. If they can do that, then maybe that will kick onto the league form, just give the whole place a little bit of a lift.
100%, mate. Can you see him going any further than that?
Well, if you'd asked me as soon as the group stage ended, I'd have told you I could have fancied them to nick it, but not anymore. No, I think they'll just get edged out.
Yeah,
by Sevilla.
Okay, David, do you think the Champions League and FA Cup is a distraction?
Yeah, of course, because obviously it's extra games, players need extra fitness, and they need to work extra hard for getting through to the Champions League and the FA Cups, especially if it's a team fighting relegation, because they need to work that extra hard to fight relegation, and obviously to get through to the Champions League and FA Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because you see them last year. I mean, the old excuse of too many games. I mean, cup competitions, more games. But at the end of the day, they're professional footballers. They won the league last season, They should really be playing with better form than they are this season, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a bit of I think it's a bit of an excuse, saying, oh, it's all these extra games and people saying, yeah, they were never going to win it again. And so, well, yeah, that is a fair point. They weren't going to win it this season, but they should have been performing a lot better than this. It's not acceptable, really.
No. So back on the note of relegation, obviously we're focusing on Leicester City. Let's change that now. So we're focusing on whether or not they'd finish in the relegation zone. I personally think that carrying on the form they could potentially end up there, but it is quite easy to forget because obviously Leicester are in the limelight, league champions last year, Premier League champions, sorry. It's easy to forget that there are 3 other teams on similar sort of amount of points. You've got Middlesbrough, who are 1 point ahead. You've got Swansea. Obviously, manager Paul Clement has turned them around. Really, they've gone on quite a run recently, and Bournemouth. So, can you see any of these clubs being relegated? Obviously, over Leicester City. We'll send that one to David.
Yeah, because obviously the point gap is very minimum. Anyone could be relegated who are from 16th to 20th.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Ben?
Of those 3 you read out, I actually think all 3 will survive.
Yeah.
The ones I would be going for would be Hull, Sunderland, and I'm going to go Middlesbrough as well.
Okay.
I mean, Middlesbrough I don't think they've actually like dipped into the relegation area this season. They've kind of just been flirting above it for like so many weeks. They've just been like 1 or 2 points away. But
Yeah.
I think by the time the end of the season comes around, I don't see a lot in their team. I don't see many goals in their team. It's sort of the case for Middlesbrough. If you get 1 goal, you've beaten them. I don't think they're that like progressive in their play. I can't see a lot in that side, which is good. Which means at the end of the season they begin and get themselves out of a corner if they're in one.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see them go down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the. There's a fixture tonight. I didn't even realise Bournemouth are playing City at home. Man City at home. Obviously, Bournemouth 14th from the table at the moment on 26 points.
That's a massive game for Bournemouth.
It is a big game, and I mean it's a big game for Man City as well. I'll go on to that in a minute. But Man City on 49 points, Liverpool on 49 points, Arsenal on 50 points, Tottenham on 50 points. I mean, Chelsea obviously top of the league, runaway leaders, I think, this season. But it is a big game for both sides. I mean, if Bournemouth win that, they then go, well, they stay in 14th place, but they do obviously gain a bit of ground on Swansea, who are below them. And likewise for City, if they win, they go 4th and overtake Liverpool. So it is obviously a very important game for both clubs. So score predictions for tonight then. David, what do you reckon? Bournemouth, Man City?
I reckon 4-0 City.
4-0 City. What about you, Ben?
3-0.
3-0. Oh, so you're going for strong City wins.
Yeah,
You not think that
City win?
Yeah, you don't think Bournemouth can put up a bit of a fight?
Change your mind. 4-1.
Oh, he's gone for the one goal.
I've just seen the lineups, and I reckon Joshua King will be a threat to Manchester City.
Okay, so moving on then. So we're talking about relegation scrap. Now we're talking about sort of, obviously there's no promotions in the Premier League, but the battle for 2nd to 6th place is on. So there's just 2 points between 2nd and 6th. Do you think Arsenal will claim their usual 4th place spot, or will either Liverpool, Man City, or United leapfrog them in the table? What do you reckon, David?
Could you repeat that again, sorry, Robson?
Yeah, no, I was saying the points difference between 2nd and 6th is about 2 points in all. So, do you think Arsenal will claim their usual 4th place spot, or will either Liverpool, Man City, or Man United leapfrog them in the table?
I reckon it will go. Arsenal will finish 5th.
Okay.
I think they're going to finish lower than they usually do.
All right. Okay.
I reckon Tottenham going to finish 3rd.
Yeah.
Man City are going to finish 2nd. Liverpool 4th and Man United 6th.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So I reckon Man City are going to finish higher than all of those.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good shout. I mean, tonight will be a good indication of that. If they obviously get a good win against Bournemouth, they'll go up in the table, as mentioned before. So on the note of obviously Arsenal, their usual 4th place finish, do you think if they get 4th place or lower than that, do you think there is pressure on Arsene Wenger to go further than 4th in the table? And do you think we haven't got none of you are Arsenal fans, are you? So it's not really the right question to ask. But do you think Arsenal fans must expect more from their manager and their club? What would you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's kind of already too late for Arsenal's season, because we're now like yet again after like the same for like 10 years now. We're just talking about 4th place. Can Arsenal win a battle for 4th? the club they are, the size they are, we need to be saying, are Arsenal in the title race? And yet again, it's just not happening. I think Wenger, he's not doing a bad job, but he's not doing a good enough job. Like they shouldn't just be settling for fourth every season.
See,
They need to be champions.
yeah, I mean, I'll argue that point, mate. I personally think fourth is you shouldn't really be aiming for fourth in the table. I mean, you should be aiming for higher. And it sounds like, every season they're trying to aim for higher, but it just don't happen.
There's always like the mid-season collapse. Like in January, they're always just really poor, and like in November, I think they've got like the worst November record out of anyone in the Premier League. And
Yeah,
they get themselves in such a bad situation, they can't then challenge the title. They just have to go and battle it out for fourth. It's just like the same every single year for us. So that's the thing. It's like if they were getting into title challenges,
yeah,
and then like falling off, but they're just not. Like the season follows the same pattern every year. Like they start off well, then they're poor in November, they're December era there, but then they're poor in January, and then there's a period we're coming up to now around the Champions League fixtures where they just go out of every competition they're in,
yeah,
and then they end the season well and get fourth, and like that is really bad that you can just project Arsenal season, because it has been the same for so many years. Just with any confidence that Wenger actually knows how to stop the rot, because it just happens so often.
yeah. I've just had a message from Luton fan called Michael Malone. He might be joining us, so we'll be joined by another Luton fan other than myself in a bit. He's obviously just needing to download the app. So, David, what do you reckon? What was the previous question I asked? I can't even remember now. I've just gone off on a tangent. Do you think that Arsenal fans expect more from their manager?
Yeah, obviously it's been shown on channels like Arsenal Fan TV, and a lot of Arsenal fans, have taken it to social media and give their point. That's what's good about social media. You get to see other football fans' opinions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we discussed it last week. Arsenal Fan TV. It is quite funny, to be honest. That there's a bloke on there who blamed their loss to, I can't remember who they just played. I think it was Chelsea or the week before Chelsea. He blamed their loss to.
Because Chelsea, it's clear that they've got the title.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, he blamed their loss on the fact it had been raining. But watching that, it does make me laugh. So moving on now to the Championship. So obviously, David, you support a team in the Championship. We'll move on to that in a minute. But at the moment, it's a two-horse race. So Brighton and Hove Albion and obviously Newcastle United. Newcastle are top of the league. Do you think that Brighton and Hove Albion can take top spot off Newcastle with a bit of form?
Who's that question aimed at?
Say it again.
Who's that question aimed at? Sorry.
Either or, mate. You can both answer it if you want.
No, yeah, I'll go. I think I don't know what you want. I think Brighton can win the league. There's absolutely no reason why they can't do. They've got Chris Hughton, like very experienced manager, been there, done it before. Ironically, with Newcastle, I think the thing I do worry about Brighton is I feel like there is just that little blip in there which I don't feel is in Newcastle. I think in the big games I back Newcastle, but like in the big games where Brighton play the likes of like Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday and other playoff challenges, I think Brighton can struggle slightly. So just it all depends on the running, but there's no reason Brighton can't win. But
yeah, and you obviously spoke about Brighton's struggles. Where do you feel they struggle when they're obviously playing their matches?
I think it's the big games, the games against they've got into this pattern. They're really good at beating the lower teams. They've like the teams towards the bottom end of the division. They get their game together. But like when a side comes and is prepared to attack Brighton, because I think that's the weak point, is their defence more than their attack. Like when a side comes who's not afraid of Brighton, they're going to say, right, we don't care you're Brighton. We're going to play our game. We're going to attack you because we know that we're a good side. I think they're the kind of games where Brighton can slightly struggle and they can go behind early and maybe fail to come back.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously with Brighton, they've got Tomer Hemed. Have you really seen much about him or know much about him?
Good striker. I think he's got a good
Yeah.
goal record this season.
Yeah.
Israeli international.
Yeah. Do you think he could be the key to Brighton's goals this season?
I think so. I think they're not. They don't, I think maybe more so Glenn Murray. I think he's their man to lean on towards the end of the season. But Tomer Hemed is definitely a good partner for Newcastle. I think for Brighton, sorry. I think it bodes well that they've got two strikers who can score goals, whereas Newcastle take away Gale. Mitrovic, bit inconsistent scorer. Daryl Murphy, kind of a similar story. It's I think it is good for Brighton that they've got two men they can rely on to score the goals.
Yeah. Okay, David. So obviously 2-horse race, Newcastle and Brighton. Who do you think will come out top at the end of the season?
In my opinion, Newcastle, only due to the fact that that Newcastle are bombing Brighton on goal difference.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're 1 point ahead. They've won more games. Brighton have drawn 7. Newcastle have only drawn 2. But then again, Brighton have only lost 4 and Newcastle have lost 7.
I love it when you can tell someone's got the stats up in front of them. It does make me laugh. So yeah, I mean, there was Brighton. Did Brighton beat Huddersfield the other night, or was it the other way around?
Brighton lost to Huddersfield, I think.
Yeah, that's
3-1, maybe.
Yeah. So obviously, we say it's a 2-horse race. It's Newcastle United first, Brighton second, Huddersfield obviously in third place, but they're only sort of about 6 points behind, I believe. So, do you think that Huddersfield could overtake Brighton? I'll give that one to Ben this time. I'll give you a chance in a minute, David.
I'm going to say no. I think they're playing well, but I think Brighton and Newcastle will just have enough to keep ahead of them. But they are a very good side, and I would fancy them for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Should they make them, and I believe they will.
Okay, cool. What about you, David?
I reckon Huddersfield have a chance of catching him. Obviously, Huddersfield have got some very good players, especially what's his name? Michael Heffy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Hefferty, something like that. Yeah, that striker.
Hefferty. Yeah, very good player.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, there's a few teams below him. You've got Reading, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich, Derby, Fulham, Barnsley. It is quite a tight promotion race, to get to the Premier League and for the playoffs. I think teams below sort of 6th place are all but out of the obviously automatics, but I can see a whole lot of teams potentially sneaking into the playoffs. So who do you think will be the dark horse of the season to sort of potentially gain promotion? What about that's for you, David? I'll ask that one.
Fulham.
Fulham, and they have just beaten your team, haven't they? I believe.
Yeah, they beat Wigan. They played very well, but then again, we played very well.
Yeah.
They've got a game in hand against Derby County. They're 1 point behind Derby. And then they're 4 points behind Norwich as well. And then Sheffield Wednesday, the team just inside the playoffs. They're actually quite a bit off them, but I feel if Fulham keep picking up points each game and performing like they did against us, then they'll have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
obviously Fulham aren't a team which are expected to get playoffs.
No, but
they finished just outside the bottom 3 last season.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say it'd be nice to see Fulham back in the Premier League because it's nice to see a team like that in there. But moving on to your club, David, Wigan, they've recently signed Omar Bogle from Grimsby Town. Can you let me know and obviously the listeners know how he's getting on at Wigan?
Well, obviously, against Sheffield Wednesday, he scored. No, he didn't score. He came on, sorry. To make his debut, and he made his full debut against Norwich City. And scored twice in that game.
Do you think he's Do you think he's a player suited for the Championship?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he showed it in League Two when he's got 19 goals already, and that's obviously he's a goal scorer. And when you're fighting relegation, that's what you need.
I'm actually quite gutted because Luton once had the chance to sign him as well. He was here on trial years ago, Omar Bogle. But
why did he join Tim Pot Newton?
Hey,
Why did he join Tim Pot Luton?
well, yeah, hey, none of that. So obviously, if you know, talking of that, could he be the player to help Wigan avoid the drop? What do you reckon, David?
Yeah, of course. But what Warren Joyce has said in one of his recent interviews is that 2 strikers doesn't mean more goals because I'm guessing he's been checking social media because there's been a lot of Wigan fans talking about the two strikers for Wigan, Will Grigg and Bogle, obviously up top. And he's recently come out and said 2 strikers doesn't mean more goals. When he brought Will Grigg on at half-time against Norwich for James Weir, he said he played Will Grigg in a number 10 role, but that's technically still 2 strikers on a pitch. And we managed to get 2 goals out of that game.
Out of curiosity, after all, obviously the hype in the Euros, how's Will Grigg been playing this season?
I mean, loads of people have put him down quite a bit from saying he can't make it in the Championship. Of course he can. He's a fantastic passer. He's a fantastic goal scorer. And let's say he got given more chances. Let's say he got given a ball more. Let's say he got the opportunity in front of goal. He would pull him away, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to League One then. Ben, your side Peterborough lost 1-0 to top of the table Sheffield United. You are still only 3 points off a playoff place. Do you think you can get that this season?
Yes, it's tricky. My answer tends to change most weeks. It seems to do with Peterborough. We've just come off the back of a bad run, but I think we've stabilised a bit now. We've got a good win over Port Vale 2 weeks ago. It's like we get to the cusp of the playoffs and then we lose a game and then we win a game. So we're like, oh, we're back in the contention, and then we lose a game. It's a little bit inconsistent this season. It's been a bit frustrating to watch at times, but I definitely say I wouldn't rule us out. No. Especially when you look at the kind of teams we're around, like we're battling the likes of Rochdale, Southend, even Millwall. I think there's no reason that we couldn't be better than them. We couldn't finish ahead of them. So I remain hopeful.
And did you expect that pre-season when obviously all the media predictions came out and Peterborough, they weren't expected to finish as high as they did, were they? If I remember rightly, I might be wrong. I'm usually wrong, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, 9th place in the table at the moment. So you believe they could push into the playoffs, but they just lack consistency. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it mainly comes from the fact that I don't think we have great strikers. So sometimes we're only getting maybe like 1 or 2 chances in a game, and if we miss them, we don't score in that game. So I think that leads to a bit of the inconsistency. But I think before the start of the season, I would definitely been predicting us playoffs, and I'd definitely be hoping we got playoffs. And that was kind of the consensus among the fan base that we were expecting to get playoffs this season. So it's a bit disappointing we're not in there at the minute, but obviously it's not a complete write-off yet because obviously we're still in with a very good chance of getting there.
Yeah, I mean, on that note of consistency, I mean, Luton, my club, have been in and out of the playoffs all season. But it's quite good I've been talking about Luton, actually, because Luton have actually loaned you back one of your previous players, Craig McHale-Smith.
Yeah, Craig McHale-Smith. I was actually pretty happy about that signing. He's one of those bit of a club legend down at Posh. Hopefully, he's left now. He's left twice on 99 goals. So hopefully he's come back for a third time. Hopefully he actually finally gets his 100th goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be good. I mean, it's a shame we actually let him go because I think he is a very good player. And as I say that, Michael Malone has joined the chat. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much. How are we all?
Not bad, thank you. Not bad. Just to introduce you all, Ben and David, this is Michael. He is the head coach of AFC Macmillan with me. He's taken over from Andrew because Andrew's phone died and he's let me down. He's let TFF Talks down, but Michael's here to salvage it and save the day. So welcome, Michael.
Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
So we were just talking about Peterborough. Ben's obviously a Peterborough United fan. We're talking about their chances of obviously getting the playoffs this season, but also talking about the fact that they have taken Craig McHale-Smith off Luton Town on loan. What do you reckon to that, Michael?
Yeah, Craig McHale-Smith. He's one of them, and he'll run every day of the week. He'll fight for every ball, and he'll press, and he'll harry defenders. And I bet you wouldn't, if you're playing against him, you wouldn't want to be playing against him. He's
Definitely,
a really tough player to play against. But the one thing he will do is he'll get them the back foot and get them to making mistakes, and that's when you got your likes of your teammates and supporting runs and midfield runners to be able to pick the ball up and have a pop on that. So yeah, definitely a good addition for him.
Definitely. And seeing as you've joined us a bit late, Michael, we will go back a little bit. We'll backtrack, because you know what, we're just over half an hour into this, and we have flown all the way through to near enough League Two. So I will go back to the Premier League. So if you're listening, apologies for that. So we were talking about, obviously, Leicester, their poor run of form recently, and obviously being in the Champions League and the FA Cup. Do you think this is a distraction? That's why they're not performing as well in the league?
I don't know. It's a funny one, isn't it, Leicester? I think last year it caught everyone by surprise, didn't it? So I think a lot of the teams have worked out how they play, and they can put a game plan into place, and limit them in terms of how they go forward, and just try and mark and sort of take out the game. Your Mahrez and your Vardys and that. I also think Kante was a big loss for him in the summer. So
definitely, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean that's evident as well this season.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I think it's a welcome distraction as long as you're clever with it. So if you can use your squad right, and if you can make the right changes at the right time and not disrupt the way you do things and your processes, then I think it's only a good thing. But when it starts to get to the point where you're having to take players out of, say, your Premier League best 11 to play these games, then that's when it starts becoming a hindrance, because let's be honest, Premier League survival is their number one objective.
Yeah.
And, when they, like I said, when people start figuring out how you play and how to sort of get at you and, and to almost counter what you've got in your weapons, so like your Mahrez and your Vardys, then all of a sudden you become vulnerable, and they should be really concentrating on staying in the Premier League.
Definitely, Michael. You sound like a man who works a lot with professional football clubs. It's quite welcoming. It's quite good. So Ben, obviously we have backtracked and gone back to Premier League. Leicester gave Claudio Ranieri the dreaded vote of confidence. Do you reckon this was a good thing to come out and say, or not? I think he's given up. He's heard Michael talk for too long. David, are you still there, David?
Oh, sorry about that. My microphone was muted. I was talking. I do apologise.
I think he just fell asleep while Michael was talking. So Ben,
very interesting. Very, very complimentary about Craig McHale-Smith, and I agree completely.
Yeah. Okay. So go on, mate. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, Ranieri for confidence. Yeah, I don't think speculation helps a club at any time. I don't think it's helping Arsenal with Arsene Wenger. I don't think it's helpful for the club if all the media are constantly speculating about Ranieri's future. It's just, I think it's good for the Leicester board, because it's kind of a wake-up call for the players, because there's the rumours that they've gone to see the chairman, and I'm not sure how true that is, but that's like really bad. That's pretty bad on the players' part if that is true, if they've gone to see the chairman and ask him out. It's kind of a message to the players, like, Ranieri is our man, we're going to back him, so now it's on you to perform. So then it's kind of saying to the Leicester players, it's your job to perform now, and we would sooner get rid of you than get rid of the manager that brought us all this success. It's just kind of a bit of a wake-up call for the players.
Yeah. What about you, David? What do you reckon? Vote of confidence for Ranieri. Do you reckon it was warranted or not? I think David's fallen asleep as well. Mikey, you have this effect on people. It's not good.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for your confidence in me.
Although,
here
he is. Go on, David. What do you reckon?
I don't know what happened, man. Sorry, what was the question again?
It was obviously Claudio Ranieri has been given a vote of confidence from Leicester City. Do you reckon this is the right decision or not?
To be honest, I've not heard anything about this.
No. So basically, Leicester City, the chairman has turned around and said that Claudio Ranieri has his full support, regardless of obviously where they are in the league at the moment, because of obviously their league win last season. But it's starting to sound like Liverpool fans. I mean, talking about history, it's about the current season. What do you reckon?
Yeah, obviously it's a bit unfair because last season was a bit of a surprise for everyone, Leicester winning the league, and so in my opinion, you can't really expect the same success this season.
Yeah.
But
Right. Okay. So we've spoken about League One. We can now speak. It was meant to be for Andrew. I've got it in my notes here. I said Andrew Luton. Obviously, I'll now change it to Michael. So Michael, Luton are now 3 points off an automatic promotion place. Above us are Carlisle United. Can you see the Hatters pushing on or breaking under the pressure of it all? I hope it's not the second one.
To be fair, I think that we're in a good place at the moment in terms of, you look at not just our starting 11, but the whole squad. Every player has it brings depth and quality to the squad and also versatility. So we could play any shape with any player. I think we're confident enough to be able to say, yeah, we go out and win games. And to be honest with you, I think that we're in a much better place than other teams in and around us. So the likes of Pompey and that, so they've got a really good squad, really good technical squad, but I don't think they've got the legs to be able to muscle it, grind out results. And likewise, I think Carlisle relied a lot on White. White's left now. Obviously, they've got a Beret still there. They're quite direct, and that's the sort of the way they play. Whereas you look at someone like us, which, to be fair, we haven't in the past. We haven't been able to go and grind results against teams like your Cheltenhams and that, and who want to come and set up and defend and park the bus. But yeah, I definitely see us pushing on.
Okay, so we have Hartlepool tomorrow night. What can you see? What do you reckon the score is going to be?
Hopefully a Luton win. I don't really care as long as we score more than them, pretty much.
Yeah, as Michael Owen said, if you score more goals than the opposition, you will win.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, yeah.
And to be fairly honest with you, I think it's an important one, because the next month or so is going to be really big for us. You've got obviously Doncaster coming up. You've got Plymouth. You've got Oxford in the Checkatrade Cup. So that's another big one for us in terms of that. But definitely, yeah. So definitely important that we come out tomorrow with 3 points, I think.
Cool. David, you've got a game tomorrow against Wolves. Going on current form, how do you reckon you'll play against them?
Hopefully very well, because Wolves have an interesting side. They have a mix between foreign players and English players, and sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. They've also got the attacking of players like Costa. Yeah,
Costa's. He played against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and he really did impress me. I remember he ran the whole pitch at one point and nearly scored. I don't think he did, but very close. But they've just lost to Newcastle. A home defeat. Are they away to Wigan? Are they playing Wigan at the DW?
Oh no, it's I don't know how to say it. The Molineux.
Oh, Molineux, yeah. So it's at their ground. So
the Molineux.
Can you see you guys winning that?
Yeah, obviously, if we go in with a passion like we did against Norwich, in second half, if we go into that game with passion and like we want to win a game, we will get 3 points in that game, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm filling in for Danny. He's probably a lot more knowledgeable than me on the Football League, although obviously I support Luton, but the higher leagues. I'm reading here that Jack Price is likely to miss out against Wigan. Do you know much about him?
No, he's not really that big of a miss, is he?
What do you reckon, Mike? Did you say he was or he wasn't?
Well, he's one of them, and he can pop up and do things, but
he's a centre midfielder, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of them that can
think I know who it is.
He's one of them for me. But you've got other players in that team for me, like Joe Mason, people like that can pop up with things and make things happen. And Dave Edwards always seems to be on the end of a cross or something. You know what I mean? Centre halves, Stearman and that. They're solid. So yeah, they're not bad to be fair. But Price, I don't know. Price is one of them, and I think he's a bit like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him.
So Ben, you've got Shrewsbury at home. What do you reckon? Can you win that game? Is it an easily winnable game?
Ooh, it should be, but if you're a Peterborough fan, you know not to say things like that. Especially this season, it seems to be a tale of. There's been a lot of quite poor days against teams that's struggling at the bottom end of the league. There's been defeats to Oldham. There's been 4-0 losses at home to MK Dons. There's been terrible performances against Coventry. So, I'm not going to count my chickens, but if we turn up and play our game, we should be able to win. I do think we're going to win. We should win.
I mean, looking on the note of inconsistency, like you were talking about earlier, I mean, looking at this, you last played, obviously, Sheffield United, you lost to them. You beat Port Vale 3-0, lost 4-0 to the Bletchley Steelers, MK Dons, lost to Oldham, won against Swindon, lost against Bury. It is quite inconsistent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up and down. It's really up and down. It's very hard from game to game to actually bet on people, to say how you think people are going to do, because they win a game that you think they should win one week, and then the next week there's another game you think they should win, they'll lose it. And then there's a game where you think they're not going to win, and then they do, or they pull out a good draw. It's just who knows with people this season. It's really, really up and down.
Yeah. But
still near the playoffs, which is pleasing and probably does say something about the quality of League One.
Definitely. Okay. So, see, I don't actually know how long we've been going for, but I will give this opportunity for all of you to tell us a bit about yourself. So, Ben, you can start, mate. So, obviously, we already know you're a Peterborough United fan. Tell us a bit about your club, who your favourite player is, all that sort of stuff.
So support Peterborough. My favourite player is Michael Smith. Signed in from Bristol Rovers on a free transfer. One of the best free transfers we've ever got, in my opinion. Really hope we get to the playoffs this season. Favourite memory in recent years was the JPT win 2014. That was quite special. Playoff win as well. It's been good times while I've been a Peterborough fan. So hopefully we can get back to them. Manager of the website side of TFF, been involved with that coming up to a year now, really enjoying it. It's been a really good spell of growth for TFF lately, and hopefully it can continue. It's very exciting times ahead for this blog in all forms: podcasts, website, Twitter, everything. It's all
brilliant. You got them all out there. You plugged it really well. So well done there, mate. David, tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about your club. Well, hopefully you're awake.
My name's David. I've got Wigan season ticket holder. I've been for quite a few years now. Manager of TFF Wigan. Where I'm looking for writers to write about Wigan, for Wigan, match reviews, match previews. Favorite player? A difficult question, Matt. But I'm probably going to go for Max Power just because of
Just because of the name. Surely it must be just because of the name.
No, not Max Power. Stephen Warnock.
Okay.
Obviously the super captain.
Yeah.
But 100% in every single game. He's the most passionate player I've ever seen, especially for 34 years old.
Yeah.
And he's just all around good player.
Fair play. Right, moving on to you, Michael. So there is a bit about you that not everyone will know. So obviously you work for, Luton Town Football Club. Tell us a bit about your role, what you do, and then we'll go on to talk about AFC Macmillan as well after that.
Yeah, indeed I do, yeah. I work as a performance analyst for the first team at Luton Town Football Club. So I work with the first team every day. filming stuff and looking at videos of other teams and picking out patterns of play and set plays and all that malarkey and stats and all of that.
Yeah,
And,
so you must get a good insight into sort of the way a football club runs, sort of the banter behind the scenes, all that goes on. You see a lot more than fans do. So when you probably hear fans saying, "Oh, the manager shouldn't do this. That's the wrong decision on that," it must really infuriate you sometimes.
Not so much as infuriate, but it does baffle me. But that's because I can see the other side of things. Whereas, I work with them day in, day out pretty much. And, they get to see them on a Saturday or a Tuesday evening. And they pay their money and I don't. So that's a complete difference. But it does get on my nerves a little bit in the respect of, especially Luton fans. Luton fans seem to be very judgmental in terms of the way they think of things and that. But to be fairly honest with you, it's not bad. It's not bad being in that side of the thing because I can understand why decisions are made or see things in a different perspective. Yeah, so it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Tell us a bit about obviously AFC Macmillan as well. I believe they had a game yesterday in which someone might have scored a few goals.
Yeah, I knew you were going to plug that. Yeah, no, we played up in Wisby, just up near Peterborough, and the pitch wasn't great, I'll be honest. So what AFC Macmillan was set up in the summer to play charity games this summer coming, to raise money for charities like Macmillan Cancer Support. Something that we're all, someone knows somebody or somebody's been involved with somebody that's had cancer or so, and it's a great cause, and we've got a really good team, a really good setup and structure, and it's really good. And we played yesterday, 1-9-3.
9-3, yeah.
9-2, 9-2, 9-3. But
9-3 in the end it was. Yeah.
And I got to admit, Robson, well done for scoring a hat trick.
Cheers. Can I just say, for those that are listening, this is my chance to have a bit of bragging rights really over Michael, because he's been insistent on playing me in CDM all season, and well, to be fair, this was my first game for AFC Macmillan. So he said, right, okay. Well, I asked for it. I asked for a chance up front, and went on the pitch up front instead of CDM for yesterday's game, and was only on the pitch for less than 25 minutes because I had to get subbed off after my third goal because I actually injured myself in the goal celebration. Managed to score a hat trick, so I turned straight to Michael and sort of up yours basically because proved you wrong.
No, it was good. It was a good day, to be fair. A good result for us, and what really surprised me yesterday, like I said, the pitch wasn't great. For those of you that obviously weren't there, the pitch was really, really bad. I mean, I've seen more grass in a cow field. It was that bad, and honestly, it was so bad. And so the fact that we were able to, still persevere and play football and get the ball down and switch it and break and press and that, it was really, really good. Yeah, good day. And I think the other team donated all their money to us to give to the charity and that as well. So that was very good, very good.
Brilliant cause.
Yeah, cheers, guys. So also we've had a few people from TFF Talks. Well, sorry, TFF. And TFF Talks, some of the guests in the past, they want to give us a game. So what do you say to that, Michael?
I say, give me some details and contact details, and I'm sure we can arrange something. We're quite busy this summer. I think we originally planned to have something like 8 games in 4 months. So it was a game every 2 weeks for the players to recover and that.
David, David, you get the details for us, and we'll definitely be up for it if all is good. You can get a squad to travel, or you provide a venue or something like that. We'll certainly look into it.
Which team would you play for, Robson?
Oh, it's up to Michael. I couldn't decide.
Well, obviously, Michael doesn't like playing you, so.
I give Robson the choice. He can play for us if he wants to. He can play for you guys. I'm not really But at the end of the day, if we, raising
It's
money
a
for
game.
charity, exactly. Yeah, so
Indeed.
it's a game of football.
Okay, I think it's about time we wrap it up. So before we do, I'll give you all an opportunity to plug your Twitter handles out there. So starting with Ben, do you want to put your Twitter handle out there for people to follow you?
It's at BennyBoy0702.
Brilliant. Okay,
Yep.
David, what about you, mate?
Well, you can follow at TFF Wigan and you can follow at DCurty, which is DCURTYY.
Brilliant. And Michael?
I think, to be fair, I'm not sure. Oh, I know it. Yeah, it's at M_Malone 1996.
Brilliant. Okay, so without further ado, I will have to end this now. So you've been listening. See, I've been provided a little bit of a speech, but Danny gave me the opening speech of what I'm going to say, but he didn't give me the closing speech. So I'm sort of going with it here. So I hope I get it right. So you've been listening to TFF Talks. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I was your host, Robson O'Reardon. Obviously, we are sponsored by Classic 11 Shirts, and it is brought to you by Crowfer, whatever it is, media. All links in the description below. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.